Hey, good morning. Happy Saturday. What a beautiful morning to be alive. And hey, I welcome you to Cayce Kaban Live Q&A, Saturday morning cartoons. And boy, I am really excited. It's a 14 degrees outside, and there was a blast of ice. It's hard to call it snow. And so it's my windows on my van are all just covered with sheets of ice, and I'm sitting in here nice and cozy and going through propane to stay warm. And good morning, you guys. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming and joining me on this happy Saturday. So I want to tell you some stories about my recent experiences. I had a relentless 6 straight days of rewriting and re-editing and preparing the ORIN Oracles book for the publisher. And I finally got it sent yesterday. They've been waiting patiently. I had to completely reformat it. And when I first learned this a couple weeks ago, it was a little bit of a, what a drag. I got to do this all over. But then I had an epiphany about it, and I got real excited. And it's a good thing because it allowed me to completely reconsider every single poem, which there's 146 of them now. And so some of them I rewrote a bit, trimmed them, cleaned them up, and I learned a lot about editing. It was really a big learning curve, big time. And so it's all good. It's really good. And I put out a request to several people for their consideration if they might have any comments they'd like to add to be a part of the book. And the response was really amazing and very humbling. And so people from really all over the world are going to make some contributions to the comment section of the book, which I appreciate and I thank you, because it just adds more color to the overall content, and so I'm excited about that. And now here's where it gets really fun. After 6 straight days of staring at my computer and doing this, and it is a process. Editing is really intense. And I finally took myself on an artist date. It was like spring. It was up to 33 degrees yesterday. So I called up my local golf course and asked him if it was open, and he called me back and he says, "Yeah, man, come on down." So I did, and I was the only one there. Big surprise. That's like a private club. Anyway, I had I was wearing my gloves, and but my fingertips were getting pretty cold. And he had a felled tree that had rotted, and oh, thank you, Andrew. He just finished his message. That's so sweet. And anyway, he had this rotted tree that he felled and cut it all up, and he had this big burn barrel, and he was burning it out there right between the 5th and 6th hole, whatever. And so I decided I'd just pull up there and take the sting out of my fingertips. So I took my gloves off, hung out, and was warming my hands. And Kurt, who owns the place, he came along, and so we ended up in a chat. I like this guy. I turned him on to urine therapy, and I don't know if he's done it yet, but he's curious. He watches. So anyway, so I got my hands warm, continued my game, and went around. And it's a 9-hole course, and so you do it twice if you want to play a full 18, which is what I intended, because I knew this temperature was going to change, and it did. So when I was going around on my second round, I pulled in by the barrel again and decided I would just warm my hands one more time. And so there I stood, and the wind was behind me. It was blowing away, and so I was just standing there. And then all of a sudden it was like a little microburst or something, and the flames all shot right up into my face. Now I happen to have my hoodie on, and I have my glasses on, my blue blockers. But I ended up getting a beard and mustache trim. I mean, I could feel it, I could smell it, and I could hear it crackling, you know. And I was like, wow, what a rush. And so, yeah, that was exciting. But here's what I want to really note. This is what I've been realizing. Now, if you even look at videos just even from a couple weeks ago, it's really apparent my gray hair is leaving, including on my beard. I mean, you can see it in the side. It's just disappearing. The gray's going away. And pee therapy, man. I do it, yeah. I wash my hair and my face every single day with my morning pee after I do my first one and start looping. And but I was looking this morning, and I was looking at it closely, and I'm going, wow, the gray's going away. It's like really disappearing in front of my eyes. So it's just more further proof. It's working. You know, so just yeah, thank you, Caroline. Yeah, it is. It's just like my hair is getting darker. The gray is just like going away. What a trip, huh? So anybody who doubts, you know, let them. You know, I get a lot of comments. I mean, I respond to people, everybody. I respond to everybody. Baba G wants to say good morning. She will not stop. There are a couple of little scallywags, Baba G and Muji. They get like a couple of cats on crack. They just start tripping. They're a total circus. I live in a circus. So anyway, man, I'm way excited. I am. I mean, life is just good. It's just a beautiful day to be alive. Things are just, you know, magical, really. No, I don't diet. No, this is, no, pee. I diet with pee. And it's working, you know. I mean, it really is a marvel. Now, you know, I grew the beard only because, you know, I don't have a bathroom, a shower, you know, any of that, living in this trailer. And the last time I actually had a actual bath and shower was, geez, it's been 6 weeks. And I don't stink. I'm not dirty. I do my pee baths, man. I spray it on and rub it in and wash my face and ears and eyes and hair every morning. It's working. What can I say? It's working. And yeah, I'm digging it. I am. You know, yeah, pee is my new hair dye. It just changes. And the cat is being relentless this morning. Just won't stop. They get like this. Hey, good morning, Heidi. Yeah, so it is a marble. You know, P is really, it's really amazing. And I've been having some really awesome video chats and personal messages because I sent out all these shout outs to a whole bunch of people. And so I was in a conversation with Bobby. She runs the urine site, The Perfect Remedy. I mean, our own natural remedy. And we were kind of in a long conversation, which was very cool. And, you know, she's had a lot of trolls, and so she works endlessly and actively to eliminate trolls. And, you know, so she asked me, because she wants to start a new kind of closed group that doesn't bring attention to the urine therapy part. And so she asked me if I would, you know, if I had any thoughts of a name or whatever, because she appreciates my my wordsmithing. And so I gave her one, and she's going to go with it. Yeah, it's going to be cool. So I won't reveal it yet. I'll let her develop it. But I was honored that she asked me, and yeah, so it's amazing times. But you know, I said to her, you know, in the truth, you know, because she showed me, actually, she posted into the message a couple of sites. One's called Shit Therapy. It's just disgusting and hilarious. Somebody's wiping shit all over their face, and I just laughed, you know. And she said, yeah, these are, you know, she put two. She said, these are these groups that are, you know, mocking urine therapy. And so I just said, you know, in the wisdom of the Buddhists, you know, you can't have one without another. It's, you know, it's just life. And to really give it any focus or attention is just something I don't really do. I just stay focused on my mission, my purpose, and my intent, and let it be, because they're going to exist. But, you know, she's determined to eliminate them, and I honor that. You know, that's a prerogative, and that's her mission, is to stamp out the trolls. And good for her. You know, really. I mean, you know, I said it, you know, wiping out trolls is a full-time occupation, and I just don't have that luxury of time to give any energy to it at all. And I've had mine. You know, I just laugh at them. Yeah. Andrew says that brings a new meaning to the phrase shit-faced. I love that. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm really pissed. Want to join me? Cheers. It's a whole new language, man. It is. I mean, it's hilarious how many people keep participating in recreating a whole new vocabulary based on P. I mean, it's just it's truly phenomenal. It blows my mind. It makes me laugh every day. And why not? You know, you can either focus on the dark and the negative, or, you know, you can focus on the light and the humor. To me, I think we're all just cartoons. Everybody, you know, whether we realize it or not. And I decided, you know, it just appeared to me a couple weeks ago, and I put it up, you know, last week. And I don't know if you remember the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. Mr. Peabody, who adopted the little boy, and he was the parental and the wise dog. So I decided I'm Mr. Peabody, but with P-E-E. Body, I am, because I am just a Peabody and a factory. Hey, Glenn, good morning. Hey, Angeline. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm just a factory. I mean, I'm building, hey, good morning, Rick. I am building a quite a collection. I've got, as of this morning, I think I'm at 30 gallons of aged urine, and you know, when it gets time, comes spring, and Rick, pay attention to this. I intend to create a bathtub. I'm going to find it free. Somebody's going to just put it out there on Craigslist or whatever. I'm going to get the lumber. I'm going to build a deck. I'm going to put a bathtub out there, and I'm going to fill it with my aged urine. And I'm going to cover it with a bubble wrap and make a hot tub, an HP hot tub that's totally heated by solar energy, you know, photosynthesis. And I'm going to lay out there naked in the sunshine, soaking in my pee. I can't wait. But at 14 degrees today, it's really a dream in my mind. I hold that vision. Yeah, get a snorkel. Very funny. Yeah, my own very amniotic sac. I'm going back to the womb. I'm going to have a womb with a view. And I'm going to just soak that shit up big time. I had my very first, actually, when I had the opportunity to be at Rick. And Rick has joined us today, which I really appreciate. And he actually owns this property where I dwell. And I steward the land and keep a good eye and just kind of a guardian angel for this amazing and beautiful 80 acres. And you know, right now it's in its dormancy, so it has this kind of haunting, poetic beauty to it, and I really look forward to seeing the spring come, which isn't far away. You know, we're like just a month or so out from springtime, and this place is just filled with maples. I mean, the whole ground cover on this 80 acres is maple leaf. And so I look forward to seeing it all turn to its magical dance, and I know it will, because that's how it rolls, man. We're not going to have sheeting, sleeting ice every day for much longer, and I look forward to it, because this last several weeks, man, it's all my money, really so much of my money is just going to gas and propane just to you know, power up and stay warm. But it's all good. It's temporary. This too shall pass. So I have some really great news too. Coming up on next Tuesday's ORIN Oracle Live, Leah Sampson's going to join me. And Leah's remarkable. She goes by White Buffalo Calfwoman. And she's got quite a remarkable story. She had some severe injury, burns actually, from she was doing a sweat lodge and somebody spilled the water, and she had this steam flash that burned a good portion of her body. And she's got remarkable healing testimonial. And so I'm really excited about having her join me. And the week after that is Jordan Blakey, who is the admin and the creator of the Urine Magic group. And he knows a lot about making kombucha tea. I'm going to look forward to that one. That's going to be a great learning curve. And then after that, Monica Swift, who is also the developer and the admin for Urine Therapy, another group. And so we're going to get some of the old school, you know, the people have been around doing this stuff for a long time. I'm still a newbie, and I'm only a year into this shit, but man, piss is bliss, man. It works. It's so amazing. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. You know, the gray is just going away. Day by day, it blows my mind. You know, and I feel it. I mean, you know, it's starting to be more obvious to me, but I can feel it. That's the big thing, you know. Oh, yeah, we're going to grow some food. You know, we got the compost building, and you know, some you know, I don't know, it's 80 acres. I don't know if we're going to have any room to grow food. Oh yeah, it's all good though. You know, this is good. Life is good. And then the following week after that, on the 6th of March, I'm going to be joined by Brian Smith and Graham Hart, the two gentlemen over in Europe who invited me onto their radio show, which was a real privilege. And actually, oh, my hands are awesome, Angeline. Thanks for asking. Actually, when I got here 2 months ago, they were still pretty tender and a little delicate and sore. But, man, they are just, oh, it's just amazing to me. It's amazing to me how my body is changing day by day by day. It just gets better and better and better. Ha! What a thrill it is to be alive, you know. I never in my wildest dreams imagined anything so fantastic as urine therapy. It's mind-boggling how cool it is, how simple it is, how effective it is, and it's working. It's working for me. And so, anyway, you know, back to the book. You know, it is into the publisher, which I am really grateful about. It was really a relentless 6 days of staring at the screen and rewriting and editing. And you know, I put out a request to a lot of folks to you know, offer if they choose to make comments to add to the book. And I make that a public welcome. You can consider it if you'd like, if you like my poetry and want to make any contribution towards the comments, I welcome them. And if you do that, just send them to WEEDU SHIVAMBU at gmail.com. And I do go by the pen name Cayce Kaban. That's how I roll. You know, if you don't know by now, WEEDU SHIVAMBU is my stunt double. He just came out of nowhere and decided that he was going to groove with the P. So, you know, Cayce just said, okay, man, go for it. So we did. Yeah, we work in tandem. That's how it rolls, you know. You know, Cayce Kaban is the writer. That's who, you know, that's who I am. WEEDU SHIVAMBU is a character, you know, and it just appeared to me. I thought it was hilarious. When I first started drinking my pee, it just appeared to me, man. That name just like popped. And I said, no, that's too fucking funny. I have to go with that one. And I don't know, it resonates, you know. I like it, you know. People seem to like it, so it's all good. So, life is good, man. It's just beautiful, you know. Every day is just a marvel. And that's why I talk about cartoons, you know. If you look around, you know, and understand, you know, what a marvel it is. People say, you know, how you doing? I go, oh, man, I'm doing marvelous. And they go, marvelous? And I go, yeah, marvelous. I said, when you look at the cartoons, you know, Marvel Comics, and realize that, ah, man, we're living, you know, we're living in a world of cartoons, and the more you realize it, you know, the more fun you're going to have. I recognize I'm just a cartoon. I'm a character. You know, I animate. I enjoy myself. Life is hilarious to me. I can't take any of it too serious. I haven't got any time to hate anybody. I just don't. It's too much wasted energy on things that are, you know, non-essential. And, you know, I've done all that, man. I've had my anxiety, my depression, my sadness, my fear-based bullshit ideas, and I work at it. I maintain a mantra to, you know, get above all that shit. You know, and I work at it. I just work at it every day. I'm just a practitioner. You know, I haven't arrived at anything. I have no destination to arrive to. It's all a journey, one day at a time. just one day at a time, one moment, each breath I take. I inhale the love, and I exhale my gratitude. Every moment, that's how I roll. Life is good. So yeah, the things are happening. You know, it's humbling, mind blowing, really. You know, I was just looking at my YouTube stats this morning, and it's quickly approaching 900, and I think like 108,000 views or something. And, you know, wow. You know, the High Vibe tribe keeps growing, and I don't know, people seem to be resonating to the higher frequency. And, you know, I'm just here. You know, I don't claim to be anything except myself, and I'm just having fun. That's it. I'm just rolling with it and allowing it all to be whatever it is. You know, people are going to discover for themselves, you know, that the key to the magic, they already have it. It all lives inside of us, and it's beyond the P. The P is significant, you know, no doubt. But what we think about, we bring about, and it's really a responsibility, and equal as an opportunity. We can all change our whole paradigm. We can shift it in the blink of an eye. Blink of an eye. Simply by considering what we think about most. And if we're not thinking about our highest good, you might not like the results. You know, it just works. It's very powerful. And I've been in the dark. I know what the dark looks like. You know, my light's been dim, you know, real dim, down to a flicker. Yeah, I've entertained a lot of suicide thoughts, you know. I've entertained all that shit a lot in my life, not just once or twice, but repetitively. Because I just couldn't see what the point was. You know, I looked around and I thought, man, I'm just a stranger in a strange land. I just want out of this mess. But I don't feel that way anymore. Not at all. P therapy helped me in that. It did. It really cleared up my mind. My pineal gland is wide open. My third eye is no longer blind. And my heart's way open. And it just constantly shifts. It changes every day. I can feel it. You know, that's why I had to just roll up on the P poems. I mean, after 146 P poems. How many P poems are in you, bro? I don't know. I'm a P factory, so, you know, who knew? But, you know, there it is. I had to bring closure to that portion so that I could just feel complete with that, you know, with that creative line. And I've been refocusing all of my poetry just by what's coming through me. It's not like I do anything with intent. I just allow whatever's flowing to just flow. Just let it be. That's the, you know, universal mind. That's the creative flow. That's the God that I am that I am. That's just the simple being of beingness. And trusting and allowing all of the energy that, you know, lives within us. And yes, Glenn, everyone has the choice. Dream the dream that keeps life magical and let go of the negative and embrace the good. Open the heart. Yeah, it's really true. It's not a mystery, you know, to me. And it's funny because, you know, when I look back at my life, I mean, back in the 80s, I was just eating, you know, self-help books and transformational books for breakfast. I'd read 3 to 5 a week. I mean, I was just, you know, I was running a big business, and motivation was a part of it. And so, you know, I inspired to keep working on myself and share that experience with others. And certainly there was an underlying agenda because I had a business. You know, I had, you know, inspired people to build their business and be motivated. So, all of those were tools in order to accelerate that idea. And that's why I like the P thing, because, I really don't have an agenda. I don't have something hidden up my sleeve. My card says it right up front, I mean, when I hand people my card, it's like, hey, man, dig it or don't dig it, I don't care. But P is free, and it works for me, and anybody who wants to see that, they can, or not. I don't care. None of my business what people do. If I think I can control what other people are doing, I better think again. It's like me thinking I'm going to control these cats, these crazy cats on crack. Oh, God, they're just nuts sometimes, man. And they eat nothing but raw food. I mean, my food budget, I'd say at this point of a good 30% or more of my food budget is buying them chicken, fish, beef, raw, feeding them raw. My squirrel hunter went away. He went to visit a friend, and he's been gone, I don't know, maybe a month or so. And, he's having fun. I know. I haven't talked to him any of that, but I just know, Daniel is a gift. He's a prize, and he's a total free spirit, and I just celebrate him. I told him when we were driving to St. Louis, where I took him to the Amtrak, I said, I think back in, I was watching, it was a Martin Scorsese film called No Direction Home, and it was a documentary film on Bob Dylan. And, it covered a lot of archives, had a lot of really, if you've never seen it, it's really amazing film. But anyway, I think back of a lot of the quotes and thoughts that people had about the young Bob Dylan when he first went to New York, when he was like 20, and in the Village, and, performing in the coffee houses and whatnot. And they all said, well, he's in his head, he, writes a lot, he's, all those things. And, I kind of recognize that in Daniel. And that he is just a real creative, brilliant young man. And, I just honor him. I respect him. I love him dearly. It's how I ended up here, because I have so much love and respect for this young man. And he's a wise old soul for such a young man. He is. He's a beautiful spirit. And that's how I had the privilege of meeting his father as well. Rick is a fine man, and, I have nothing but love and respect for these people, and I appreciate, being able to steward this land, hanging out here in ORIN town. Somewhere in town bliss here, and it is. It's it's really I'm a coastal. I grew up on the West Coast, lived on the East Coast, and, first inland I went was to Sedona, and a short stint in Colorado, up near Telluride. But basically, I was always coastal and high desert. So to end up in the heartland, right, kind of smack dab in the middle of it all, surprised me. But I love it. I really actually love Missouri. And I can't wait until, well, I can't wait, I will wait, but, see it bloom and blossom, as it comes into the springtime. Because I know it's just going to be this glorious, rich, magical land of green, It's not going to be this, this dormancy that is in now, but the trees are resting, they're preparing, they're getting ready, for their blossom and bloom. Aren't we all? I mean, that's what we're doing in our lives, really, is, preparing ourselves for our greatest blossom and bloom, like wildflowers in the spring. And, it lives in all of us, There's no sense squashing our dreams. Celebrate them. You know, picture yourself in your most amazing way, in your greatest vision that you can ever imagine, because it's there. Greatness lives in everyone. And, you know, if you look around, most, I'd say most, if not all, people have been wounded, usually early in childhood. And without recognizing and releasing and processing those wounds, we carry them. And if you look at people that are, you know, in their fear base, if they're offensive, over-defensive, bullying, or, you know, whatever, you know, full of rage and hate and all that, they're the ones who need the biggest hug. They're the ones that are lost in their dreams. You know, their dreams were squashed. And, you know, I have a lot of empathy. I do. You know, there's no sense hating. There's enough of that. There's enough resistance. There's enough offense. There's enough defense. I just see the need for more cooperation. You know, the more we just cooperate and love each other, the healing process begins. Even in our most tragic moments, you know, as we're, you know, dealing with, you know, really deep stuff, which I've been through all of them. You know, I've been through divorce and lots of death and suicide and, you know, drugs. You know, my life has been one giant, colorful enterprise of one circus, one rodeo, one carnival after another. And so I, you know, carried a lot of that with me. But I work at it. I just work at it to not let these things run my life like I allowed them to in my past, because I did. I let this shit run me. And it didn't serve me. It's just a form of self-sabotage, which is self-loathing, which is failing to recognize self-love. It's really what it boils down to in the simplest terms. And the more we can see that and recognize that within our own existence, within our own beingness, the more we'll recognize it in others. As we allow ourselves to live in unconditional love of ourselves, then we can actually unconditionally love. But if we place these limits and conditions on ourselves, you're going to get what you get. It's just the way it works. So, you know, I tell people, hey, I have the capacity to unconditionally love everyone because I unconditionally love myself. I don't beat myself up anymore. I let go of that element. It was just self-sabotage. It wasn't serving me. So, do I like everybody? Not necessarily. You know, love and like are two different ideas, and by definition, they clearly are different. You know, I don't support a lot of people's ideologies and beliefs and practices and all that stuff. I mean, I don't support it. I don't have to, but I allow it because what am I going to do? It's truly the Zen Buddhist in me, I suppose, that you have to recognize that all things exist. One will not exist without the other, and it just, you know, it's really a matter of what you focus on. And so I don't focus on the hatred. I don't. And I've carried those banners. I have. You know, with all sorts of ideology and agenda. Forever. You know, just insulting my own intelligence by limiting myself to bannerism, labels, conditions, beliefs, opposition, resistance. I did. All these things were so ingrained in me. The first march I ever attended I was like 15, and it was in Seattle. And then I was inspired to go to San Francisco. back in the 60s, when, the Vietnam War was raging. These were deep, deep concerns, and there was a collective consciousness. There was a whole counterculture that was exploding, quite frankly. And I was honored and grateful, quite frankly. It's the first time I actually felt like I was a part of something, that had some kind of meaning to me. And so I willfully participated. And I went to San Francisco several times, and even up until the early 2000s. I was still going to San Francisco to participate, with the invasions of Iraq and, all these things. And I carried those banners, I did. But I don't anymore. I just laid the banners down. I realize there's no resolve in it. To keep being in opposition, beating people over the head, telling them they're wrong, it just doesn't serve. What did I eat for breakfast? I keep slipping with the wrong food. Yeah, drink your pee. I had a banana. That was it. I've had a lot of looping this morning, drank a lot of pee, and that's how I roll. I usually don't eat until the afternoon. I primarily eat one meal a day. Somewhere usually 2 or 3 in the afternoon is when I actually eat. And I usually eat, I get these organic mixed greens. I like them. And I make a salad. And I put avocado and banana. The 3 fruits that are really my primary fruits are banana, avocado, and oranges. That's it. I find that, during season, if you can actually find real fruit, that's always a marvel. But most of it is just so processed. Looks good. You can go to the store and, wow, those strawberries look tasty, or, the blackberries, or, whatever. And, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And so I just kind of stick with the basics for me. I have a very simple diet. I'm very practical, very efficient, and, it's not super colorful. But I do eat cooked food. I mean, I make this, I usually make a bit of a batch, like some rice and beans. I have this batch that I made of couscous. I like couscous and quinoa. And it has some chickpeas, garbanzos, and some fava beans. Fava beans. And diced tomatoes, and it's very tasty. And so, yeah, I'm not hung up, I know that the P is working, and this is what I've really learned. I mean, I got really, kind of over-focused, and see you, Angeline, always nice to see you, darling. Big hugs to you. I haven't had any meat in 3 years. When I went vegan, I quit meat altogether, and I haven't had any meat in 3 years. And, I pretty much quit dairy and seafood and alcohol, though I had a couple drinks during the holidays, and, it's all good. I don't have any fixation on it at all. I like pot. I'll smoke it if it's available, but again, I'm not fixated on it. It's not like I have, Jones on it or any of that. Somebody offers me a hit, sure, I'll take it. I like it. It's all good to me. But I've learned that my body is, it's happening. My temple is happening. It's resurrecting. It's changing. And I have no other source to attribute it to except Pete. I mean, it's totally changed me. And I am grateful. I really am grateful. You know, I really did think I was going to be taking, you know, pain medication and muscle relaxers and doing all that shit for the rest of my life. So when I realized that I had an alternative and could shift away from that, I truly was grateful, because I was actually experiencing more side effects than real effects. And I was noticing that. I was paying attention to that. And, you know, there's nothing worse than, you know, having that nauseous feeling because of medications. It's awful. It's just, you know, you can feel it. You can sense it. And it's like, I was like, what am I doing to myself? Well, ha! Now I know exactly what I'm doing to myself. Ha ha! I got my own perfect medicine. I know exactly what it contains. I know exactly where it comes from. And I know exactly how to use it. And that's as simple as that. And I don't impose it on people. It's not my job. You know, I share it. You know, I'm open about it. But, you know, people are going to do what they do regardless of what I do. And they're going to think what they think regardless of what I think. And so to spend any energy or focus on what other people think, especially about me, is a real waste of energy. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. The only thing I can actually control is my perception and my attitude. You know, how I view things, how I experience things, how I react to things. And my reactions have varied a lot in my lifetime. You know, I'd react in, you know, anger. And, you know, I can be a scary motherfucker. You know, I can. I could, you know, I'm a big guy. And I can get really intense. You know, I know how I can intimidate the hell out of somebody if I really wanted to. And I have. But I choose not. Now, somebody wants to play that game with me. I give them fair warning. I'm a pretty good actor. It's not really what I'm feeling, but man, I can pull that shit right up and get so up on somebody that they won't even see it coming. You know? But that's just not who I am. It's just not. I don't roll that way. I just don't. So, it doesn't enter into my field at all. I've been a pacifist since I was 15 years old. I'll never forget the day, the last fight I had, and it was ugly. It was on a sidewalk in my neighborhood on a very busy street, Capitol Hill in Seattle, and it was in front of a store which had very big windows, and it was amazing. You know, neither of us ended up crashing through one of these big plate glass windows. It was really ugly. And I'll never forget, I walk in, you know, it's a couple blocks from my house. I remember walking away, and I was like, never again. I refuse to do this. And I changed my mind. I just chose to be a pacifist. And I haven't had to engage in that kind of energy at all ever since. Not that I haven't been confronted by it. You know, people have threatened me. I mean, I got it's a great story. It just reminded me. And this was back in Union where I was living. And I lived there a couple of times. That's where I launched out from, Hood Canal, when I left last September. Hey, Gene. Ha, funny. Yeah, it's funny you should appear. I was just talking about Union. Ha, ha, ha. How perfect is that? So anyway, this was a long time ago, early 2000s, and I was working in this little cafe called the Union Bay Cafe, and you know, it was real localized, and you know, I was working in the kitchen, and I didn't have much to do. There's not much to do. Wasn't many places to go, so I'd hang around and play pool. That was pretty good. So, you know, I'd do that, and the bartender liked me, and he'd always give me free drinks. So there was a few characters there, you know, and, you know, there was a bit of crack going on, some tweakers. And this ex-Marine, Steve Smith, you know, this one night we were there, and I don't know what he was pumped on. I don't even know what jacked him. But he came up to me, and he just looked at me with death in his eye. And he says, "All right, man, that's it. We're going to settle this right now. We're going to go outside, and we're going to settle this right now." I just looked at him. I started laughing. And I said to Steve, "Brother, we're not going outside. That's first and foremost. That ain't going to happen. But more importantly, if you're the messenger that God sent to take me home, you better take me all the way fucking home, bro. Otherwise, go fuck yourself." That's all I said. And he just stared at me for a few moments. And he turned and walked away. Cracked me up. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, you don't have to fight. I mean, fighting's a choice. It's an energy field, you know, and there's a lot of people that like to be drawn into that energy field. I'm not one of them. I just don't go there. It's just not a part of my makeup. I just don't care for violence at all. I abhor it, really, quite frankly. So I don't entertain it at all. I just let, hey, you know, I just haven't got the time for hate. I just don't. It's just a waste of my energy and time. I just don't like it. So I don't do it. And, hey, Jonas, Juanita, Brom, hey, all you guys, thanks for joining. Hey, Denise. I just love this Saturday morning cartoon show. It's way fun. You know, I just enjoy myself, and, you know, I'm just sharing, you know, the goodness. You know, things are really good. Life is good. And, you know, I'm just grateful that I finally got the entire book finished. That was really a press for me. And, having to rewrite and re-edit and do all that, man, wow. But what an amazing learning curve. You know, I learned so much, not only about the editing process and, you know, form and all that, but about myself. You know, to revisit the whole series, to really reflect on this whole last year and, you know, really reconsider, you know, how many changes that I've experienced, how much growth that I've actually had and still have. You know, there's no destination. It's all a journey. And it's a good one. It's a healthy one. And everybody's on the same in their own life. It's all just a matter of what we think, what we choose, how we roll. But I tell you what, I'll never turn around and go back anywhere, ever. I rip those rear view mirrors off. I tell people honestly, I said, you know, I've learned a lot in my life. You know, I have a lot in my head. I have a memory that won't go away, and I have files that are deep. But I'll tell you what, I've never found anything more important or more profound that changed my life forever than urine therapy. Nothing. I can't compare it to anything. It's the most amazing thing that's ever occurred. And for this, I'm grateful. I just keep getting younger. My grays turn into brown. Everything's changing so rapidly. I mean, I'm watching it occur day by day. It just keeps happening. And there's no other reason for it except drinking my pee. And no, I don't take any supplements. I don't take vitamins. I don't do supplements. I don't do herbs. I don't do any of that. None. I just drink my pee. You know, wash with it, wash my hair, wash my face, you know, do my eyes. I do like sun gazing. And it's all working. I'm under photo synthesis with natural ingredients, all organic. I just don't. I don't care for inorganic material. That's why I don't ever consider, even for a moment, to drink tap water, spring water, mineral water. All that. It has inert, inorganic material, and it leaches in our body. It's exactly what happens. People don't realize what they are actually consuming. It leaches in our body. Now, I saw this really profoundly when I fasted, because when I went down to 144, I mean, I was pretty, I was down to a frame, and my skin was just hanging all over me, just hanging on me. And I mean, I even look at my neck, you know. I mean, if you look at my earlier videos, I could do this and I'd have big, you know, it's like, it looked like jowls on a turkey. But you can see I mean, it's just all tightening up. I mean, it's just amazing to me. And it's not like I'm doing any, you know, real physical regimen or working out. It's the pee that's doing it. My skin has become elasticized, and it's just reforming. You know, I love walking. I'll go out and walk 4, 8, 10, 12 miles. You know, I love to play golf because it's a zen thing to me. It's very relaxing. Having that golf course all to myself yesterday was just awesome. Just out there, you know, 32 degrees, you know, just well, 33, but there was a wind chill. But, you know, the greens were supple, but there was snow in the cups. You know, the flags wouldn't stay in because there was like snow and ice in the cups. But, you know, it was all good. You know, it's all good. I just, my body, I mean, I look at myself when I'm doing my aged urine washdowns, when I'm spraying myself with my pee bottle. And I'm standing there, there's a full-length mirror here in the trailer, and I'm standing there spraying this and rubbing it in, and I look at my body. And, I mean, I don't even have little love handles. I don't have nothing. I mean, it's gone. It's just gone. I'm just, you know, 165 pounds. I look and feel like I did when I was 19 years old. It's just true. I can't make this shit up. You know, I don't. It's all happening. And it's happening every day, every moment in me, every single breath I take, I feel it happening. Now, earlier this week, I got another little story for you. Now, I woke up with a headache, and I mean it was just a dull pain. And I'd already been a couple of days into my rewrite and editing, so I'd been holed up in the trailer, and it was cold. It was down to 3 degrees. So I was keeping the stove going a lot, just to keep the ice off the windows and keep the place reasonably, you know, warm enough to just hang. But I was focused, and I kept looping all day. I just kept looping and looping, and headache wouldn't go away, just wouldn't go away. But I just, you know, I was just being with it. And continued what I was doing because I was determined to accomplish this rewrite and edit in a timely fashion to get it off to the publisher. So when I felt complete at that point of the day, and I had been working, I don't know, almost probably 8 or 9 straight hours staring at my computer screen, yeah, I finally closed it down. And I put on my headphones, put on some old school, and went for a 4-mile walk. The sun was out. I was sun gazing and walking, and I realized after about 15 or 20 minutes, the headache was gone, just vanished. So I recognized what I was lacking is the true essentials: some sun, some air, little exercise, change of venue, so to speak. And so, again, I say these because it is a understanding, it's an understanding of the potential and the power that we all have, what exists within us. how we can actually transform our bodies, our minds, our heart, our spirit. We can transform anything we choose. Just depends on what we're practicing, what we're paying attention to, and whether we accept the responsibility and the opportunity equally to allow all that to happen. And I do. I accept, I trust, I allow. And I don't know, it's working. Yeah, I've never felt this good in my life. Never, never, ever have I felt this good in my life. Every day in every way. And so, I say, cheers to that. It really is refreshing. This is, from an hour ago. Maybe a half an hour before I started. Flavorless. It actually just tastes like water. Actually tastes better than most water. For sure. And, yeah, totally clean, totally sterile, totally pure. I know its content. And because I do eat cooked food, and I like, I like to put things on, I like to have food with my condiments. So sometimes, you can taste it. That's the whole thing, is that, you can always taste what you are consuming, one way or the other. Pee is a perfect barometer. It always gives you a clear indication of, what's so in your body. Even if it's totally disgusting, you might want to consider what you're doing. It won't harm you. No one's ever died from drinking their pee ever in recorded history. 5,000 years of recorded history. No one's ever died from drinking their pee. And it's sterile. It's pure. People who don't understand that, they either just don't want to do the research and understand what's so about it, or they just will, hold on to their belief and their resistance and whatever they were indoctrinated into. But I guarantee you, after you go pee, and you peed on your hands and washed your hands will be more clean and more sterile and more purified than that bullshit they leave on the counter that you squirt into your hand. It just is. So we're being misled in that totally. Like, we're going to spread germs. No, we're not. That ain't going to happen. We're not spreading germs. We're protecting ourselves from germs. That's the real truth. Now, I watched a very interesting, now I knew all this, but I like to watch. There's certain people I really respect for their diligence and their research and their fortitude about what they present. And one person I subscribe to is the Corbett, not Corbett, Corbett Report. And he's a Canadian. He lives in Japan. And he produces pretty regularly. He's been on air for a really long time. And he's got a lot of insight. He's a real researcher. And he put together, and it was an old show. This was years ago, and I just happened to come up in my feed, and I just decided to watch on it. And it was all about how the Rockefellers, as a key player, but also involved with J.P. Morgan and Andrew Carnegie and, other industrialists, the money people, how they completely hijacked medicine with intent. They completely hijacked, completely. And if you look around, you can see it was successful. They promoted allopathic as the only true science. They made out all naturopathic medicine as being quackery. And since they you know, basically had all the money, they had all the influence. All of the medical schools, they were on, and they still are. Rockefeller people are or their minions, are on every single board of every institution. Medical schools, academics, insurance, finance, government, media. All you have to do is some simple homework. It's not hard to figure out, you know, why things are so fucked up and how they got that way. And what are you going to do about it? Bitch, complain, argue, fight, debate, beat people over the head, scream in the streets, you know, throw bricks through windows. What does that really accomplish? Nothing. It actually just builds more resistance. That's what it does. So how can we change? What can we do? What can I do? I can protect myself, and I know it. I do. I have. I am. And P has been the way to find that freedom. Totally. You know, I spent 20 years, you know, focusing and complaining and beating people over the head about chemtrails, about HARP, about ELF, you know. And now the real current player is the advancement of the 5G, the electromagnetic frequency microwaves, which are everywhere. It's a global event. It's not just, you know, localized. It's everywhere. And this shit's dead serious. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is the ultimate play for mind control, whether you realize it or not. It's not just about having a faster internet or downloading your Netflix. It's not about that. Not at all. It's mind control. It's total mind control. And the more calcified you are, the more fluoride you consume, you know, along with all these other inorganic materials, you know, aluminum, barium, mercury. The list is long. We are being poisoned. Really, quite frankly, we are being poisoned. But I no longer concern myself with any of that. Why? P. That's it. I have my P code on. I vibrated to higher frequency. And I say that in jest because it's clever. But it's beyond clever. It's authentic. It's real. It actually is working. I don't need to wear a tinfoil hat. It's not required. Bring it on. I don't fucking care. Bring it on. Now, I'm just not even going to pay attention to that shit. I just don't. I don't focus on it. You know, if you look at the system that was put in place to protect you, you know, like Carol said, the FDA, the AMA, you know, the CDC, you know, all of these agencies, Department of Agriculture, Department of the Interior, I mean, it doesn't matter. They are serving corporate interest. It's what they are. It's what they do. The NGOs is the same thing. Doesn't matter. American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, the kidney, you know, doesn't matter. Look who their corporate sponsors are. See how much money is influencing their policy, their decision making, and how they roll. I mean, the American Heart Association, who are some of their biggest corporate sponsors? Tyson, the American Beef Association. You know, the list is long, folks. All you have to do is look into it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just have to do some homework. It's not hard. You know, the information's out there. And, everybody's like the, fake news and the, this, that, and the other. Hey, if you're intelligent, you can figure it out. You can sort it out. The information's all over the place. All you have to do is look for it, and understand it. Yeah, like Andrew was just saying, like China, they're actively in China attempting to dislodge, discredit, and defy the pee drinkers. This is public knowledge. I actually posted a couple of things on my pages just recently in articles regarding that. But again, if we think that bitching, now I believe in collective reasoning. I do, collective consciousness. But to go out and be brawling doesn't get the job done. It just doesn't. It takes more than that. Certainly people think, well, my vote counts. Your vote doesn't fucking count. It doesn't. That's a joke. Really. The only thing that's really going to change anything is consciousness. That's it. There needs to be a paradigm shift in consciousness. That alone will shift the frequency, shift the energy, shift it all. Because as long as there's all this debate and fighting and arguing and resistance, all you're going to get is more arguing, fighting, debate, and resistance. It's just the dynamic. It's just how it works. So I just choose to hold a higher space, to trust and allow. You can't give what you haven't got. If you haven't got self-love, if you haven't got self-respect, how do you suppose you're going to give anybody else love and respect? Can't give what you haven't got. It's an inside job, man. All starts with us. We got to clean up our yard. We got to clear out our closets. We got to upgrade our shit and dump the garbage. Realign ourselves with our true selves, our beingness. If you realize that, again, most people are damaged goods. They've been wounded since childhood. I know. I'm one of them. And I still work at it. It's a process. It's always a process. There's so many layers to it. But when you allow the process, much is revealed. It's just trusting yourself enough and loving yourself enough to allow these processes to occur. You can't resist them. You can't deny them. It won't get the job done. Just won't. I mean, not my experience. Maybe somebody else has some magic pill or some formula. I don't know. Hey, we live in a matrix. We do. Anything that ever was, ever will be, already is. Just all. It's about what you pay attention to. What you bring into your consciousness. There aren't any original thoughts. We're just recycling. That's it. It's just drawing from the universal mind. It's just sourcing what's already there. It's what it is. It's how it really works. So love yourself. Respect yourself. Honor yourself. Celebrate your life. You deserve it. Everyone does. Everyone. We are who we've been waiting for. All of us. We're the ones we've been waiting for. And the more we realize it within ourselves, the more we'll recognize it in others. We are not alone. We are one. We're all from the same makeup. This could be why SHIVAMBU was kept secret and the yogis had to retreat to private spaces in the mountains. Yeah, perhaps. You know, it's a good point, Andrew. I choose not to hide. That would be a luxury, certainly. I mean, God knows I live on 80 acres of private property in the woods. I could live like a hermit, effortlessly. And I have. For a long time. I just choose not to anymore. I just feel that it's just time. It's time to be in an awakened state. And I just embrace and welcome that shift. I trust. I allow. I do. And there are amazing, beautiful, remarkable, intelligent beings out there everywhere. As you recognize it in yourself, you'll see it everywhere. It's magnetic. So, if you want love, be love. Love yourself. Love will find its way. If you like drama, and a lot of people do, you know, people like their aches and pains and their suffering because it brings a certain, you know, sympathy card. And that's fine, you know, whatever it serves. That's what it is. But me, I don't know. I just don't see any other. I just don't see any other tarmac to fly and love. To me, that's the high octane shit right there. Love yourself. Be love, see love, receive love, give love. It just goes around, comes around. It's abundant, really. And the more you allow it, the more you'll receive it. Just looks like that. I know. I can't give away love fast enough. It just pours in so heavily, quickly, always, generously, lovingly. So I just give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. So, you know, I don't want to get too serious on you. You know, I have my moments. I'm just always in the moment. I don't script any of this. I just, I allow whatever comes through to be what's so. You know, that's life. That's the way it goes. You know, when I want to script something, I write a poem. Short story or a commentary. You know, then there's a script. But when I do these, it's all live. That's why it's live. What you see is what you get. I don't have any other mask. You know, I'm not going to pretend. This is who I am. Raw. Rah, rah, rah. I'll drink to that. Cheers, mate. I love all my European friends. They're so cool. There's so many of them, too. They just are so full of spirit and love, you know, all over the place, man. The Netherlands, Ireland, Scotland, Italy, Spain. I mean, it's just, it's amazing to me how much love is out there. It really is. It's just so beautiful. Hi, Deborah. You know, I see so many comments, you know, there's, you know, people, I appreciate the comments, and I do the best I can to pay attention to those and still stay in the moment. So thank you. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for your love. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for sharing, you know. It's just remarkable to me how much beauty there is, how much love there is, you know, big time. So I don't know if I have any more to say. If anybody has any direct questions or anything, I certainly am happy to address them. Otherwise, I'm going to move on with my day. I got to go fill some propane and gas tanks. Don't want that shit to run out again, boy. Man, when the gas goes off, this place turns into a deep freeze. Ice forms on the glass, 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it's amazing how cold it gets, how quickly. So, I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. Remember to love yourself. Give yourself a big hug. Everybody deserves a big hug. If you can't give it, you know, get it from others, give it to yourself. You know, warm your heart. Yeah, just warm your own heart. Let yourself in. The more you let yourself in, the more you allow others to come in. It's true. So I love you all dearly. I really do. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time and your considerations and your concerns and, you know, your love. So, again, anybody who wants to be a part of the ORIN Oracles book, it is now in the publisher. The only thing left to send to them is any comments. So I welcome those. Again, you can make them if you like. If you have any comments about my poetry or about me that you'd like to submit, I appreciate it. And you can just send those to my email at WEEDU@gmail.com. And I use the pen name Cayce Kaban. So that's how the best way to address it. If you'd like to be a donator, I certainly welcome and appreciate donations. I still have a couple of significant payments left to make to the publisher, and that can be done at paypal.me/WEEDU. $25 will guarantee you a signed and numbered copy of the book with love. So, yeah. Ha! Yeah. Don't worry, that's coming, Michelle. Yeah. So, have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. Thanks for joining me. I recognize and appreciate everybody's time. I do. And, you know, oh, boom! Hey! Ha! You've just been loved. Ha! Bye now. Keep the peace together. Ha ha!